welcome to Laser Vision Comics. I am Bolthra, your storyteller slash GM slash narrator, whatever we call it in this system. And tonight we are beginning a new story with a new character. And we have Michael joining us.
Hi, everybody.
Howdy. And we are going to be picking up. Our story begins on a cold December night in Boston. It's just a few hours before the events of Quark issue number 1. So if you haven't read that, or excuse me, haven't seen it, go back and watch that video here on our channel. And please be sure to give us a like and subscribe to the channel. On his way back from grabbing a quick takeout dinner, Dr. Maurice Evans is back into work at Jet Microsystems. He's been there all day, lots of work to do. So again, he just kind of stepped out real quick to get something to eat, and now he's walking back to Jet. And I'd like to have you describe your character, please.
Maurice is an older individual. He's probably in his late 40s, early 50s. He's been with the company for some time, slowly moved up in the ranks. He's at a pretty cushy spot right now where he's on the verge of getting a promotion to be like third or fourth in the company in his field of nanite technology. It just seems though like he keeps getting overpassed. Like for some reason, he either goes on his interviews and he always screws something up or stumbles, or he has a presentation and everything's going perfect, like right up until the very end, and something just slips through his fingers, or he forgets to plug something in. Like he always has that moment.
Okay. Well, as he gets up to the front door, uses his badge to swipe in, comes into the lobby. There sits Charlie, the night security guard, and he's sitting playing some kind of game. He looks up and he's like, "Hey, fella, how you doing?"
Hey, Charlie, a little overtime.
Yeah, yeah, trying to make a little extra money for Christmas.
Ain't nothing wrong with that, brother.
So he says, "Have a good night."
You too.
So
Catch you
So
later.
Maurice passes by and heads down to his lab. It's there's a doorway kind of off the lobby. They kind of go down a hallway, and then there's a set of stairs. When he comes down, his lab is actually the past the staircase down to the right. He gets down there, swipes his badge to get in. You need certain access to be able to get in this far. Um, Gets in. He's been the only one. Everyone left around like 5 o'clock, 5:30 or so. So he gets in, decides to get down, starts checking his emails.
Starts going through a couple of his emails. Sees one from the company head for an upcoming promotional interview. Hmm. Seems to perk up at that.
Yeah.
So he's starting to have a great evening. He has his takeout. Starts cracking it open. Um. Starts checking over a second email that says something about one of his lab assistants sending him info that a couple of the experiments are sending out some odd numbers, but Maurice is in a mindset where he really can't screw this up this time. Like he really has to push through, he has to double down.
Yeah.
So he doesn't really pay it too much mind. Um he's kind of skipping over a lot of stuff because that first email, it really clicked. It kind of spirits up. He's like, this might finally be it. And
Yeah.
they finally got his takeout order right for once. So things are looking up, you know?
Yeah, the email from the lab assistant, his name's Samid. He had posted some of the data collection earlier in the day. According to his report, the latest samples of YR245 are not stable, and further research needs to be done. He notes Samid is to be an honest and forthright person. He trusts his opinion. Um, so if he says it's not ready, it's not ready.
Yeah. Um, I'm gonna have to make a roll on that.
Okay. Alrighty,
Let's
first
see.
first roll of the evening. Let's see what we got here.
What
Yeah.
should I do?
Let's.
Willpower?
Uh. Yeah. Yeah. Because I mean, his intellect knows Samid's,
Yeah.
talented and smart, but yeah, I'd say willpower. Yeah.
Uh, one success.
Okay. Uh, he's like, nah. I think I got to go with what Samid says. Uh, I. It's just. It's just not. It's not worth the risk. I mean, we've worked this long,
All
maybe
right.
just a little bit longer. Uh, the thing that really sucks is, I mean, there's so much pressure coming down from corporate.
Yeah.
Somebody at the top wants results like yesterday, and they're going to be pushing for results soon.
I'm gonna give him a call.
Okay.
So,
All right. Samid picks up. Hey, Maurice.
hey, I just got your email.
Yeah.
Um, so I got news from upper management that we really need to crack down on this. I understand that you're off right now, but would you be able to come in? Um, the
Uh,
numbers are off. We really have to push forward this presentation for them to be able to connect with the nearest hospital to start doing human trials as soon as possible.
can it can it wait? I mean, tonight's the only night I get with my daughter.
I understand, but you and I knew signing up for this, there was going to be nights that we have to sacrifice.
Uh,
And unfortunately, the corporation that we're tied into, it doesn't see family as a major priority.
all right, you give me about an hour or so. I mean, I gotta, I got stuff I gotta take care of. So I'll be there as soon as I can.
Yeah, I'll be here. I could start setting everything up. If you want, I can call out for takeout. I just got this great Thai place that actually got my order right. I can
Uh,
send down something for you so you're not
uh,
coming here empty-handed.
yeah, yeah, I had just made some macaroni and cheese, but yeah, I appreciate it, and
All right, man.
I'll see you in a little bit.
I'll be here.
Okay.
Thank you.
And as he's hanging up, over about 5, 6 feet away from him, one of the pressure gauges on one of the containment machines, you just see the meter just go. It just starts rising really quick.
It's not good.
I want to have you uh, make an intellect roll to see if
Intellect.
you can look at that real quick. And
3.
okay, it's reacting a little faster than you would like. You know that you can, if you get in the system, you might be able to run an override on something to maybe lower the pressure a little bit.
Come
Um,
on, baby.
and as he's clicking in there, the machine actually starts shaking. Like,
No,
yeah, you're like, you've
no,
never seen this like
no,
shaking, and the pressure gauge is
no.
going up and up and up and up and up.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Inside this lab, is there like an emergency separator? Like, am I sectioned
Hmm.
off to be able to get up and out and be able to close everything?
Yeah. He may be able to get over there to get that started.
I'm going to attempt to with some agility if
Okay.
I can.
Alrighty.
Uh, 2 successes.
Okay. He's not getting there fast enough. As he's getting over there, there's a liquid container that attaches to the containment thing, and it just falls over. It's just like
Yeah.
pushes up out of the, falls over. There is an explosion,
Oh
um,
God.
and as it explodes, he is engulfed in flames.
So he tried to get up, and his shoelace was wrapped around the bottom of the chair as
Some,
he fell.
yeah.
All this chemical solution just fell on him. It was so hot he didn't even feel it. Like it went white hot. And as he's looking at himself, he's realizing that it's beyond like third and fourth
Yeah.
degree burns, and it just keeps going. And even though he's screaming, it's more soundless because he's in that much pain, and he just starts going into shock.
As he as he's stumbling forward, his hand does manage to reach out and hits the alarm. And as he does that, his vision is gone as darkness and pain just take him away. At some point, his we're going to call it his vision returns. Um, there's heavy smoke, but there's no pain. There's fire around him, but he doesn't feel any heat. And whatever vision he has kind of shifts. It kind of goes like up and down and almost kind of like in circles.
Feels like the 60s.
Too much LDS in the 60s.
And he's attempting to rub his eyes if he can, but he doesn't even feel his
Yeah.
hands.
Yeah.
He's not even actually feeling if
Yeah.
anything's up against his
Yeah.
face. He's attempting to,
Yeah.
but he's just too out of it right now.
There's a sense of panic around him as he can't feel his face. But what he does see is beneath him. There's a what looks like a human body. I mean, it looks like arms and a leg and a torso is just blackened, and there's this orange fire all over it.
I got to get out of here. And he's going to attempt to see if he can turn around to get to the exit.
Okay. Yeah, he turns the fire doors have closed as soon as the alarm when the alarm came on. Uh, he gets to the door, but he has no hands. He has no limbs.
He's attempting to look down at himself, and
Okay.
he doesn't see a form. He doesn't see a frame
Yeah.
or anything. Like it's just a vantage
Yeah.
point
Yeah.
at this point. Like how high up is he?
Probably about 5 or 6 feet in the air.
Um, he's looking around. He's attempting to see if A, anybody else is there besides the body, and B, even though he hit the alarm, if he can see out of any exterior windows to see if anybody is actually coming.
Um, as he's looking that, he sees one of the outer doors now slides open, and he sees smoke starting to fill out into the hallway. Um, and then what looks like giants to him. These massive giants come marching through the doorway.
He backs up as soon
Yeah,
as he can.
yeah. And the doors open, and he sees these giants with these things on their face. They look like, and as his brain is taking all this in, he's like, those are respirators.
He's not exactly sure what to make of the size right now. Um, he's gonna attempt to catch their attention because they just seem to come straight past him.
Sure,
So
sure.
in his, in his mind, it's like he can wave his arms, but again, he doesn't have any arms.
Right,
So he's like,
right.
he feels like he's doing it,
Yeah.
but nothing physical is actually
It's
happening.
like, I'm here,
And
I'm
he's
here.
like,
Yeah.
hey, hey,
They
hey, and I just walking right past him.
they actually one seems to clip him with his shoulder, and you almost feel like you get knocked backwards. Like you don't have legs, but you feel the bottom half of you go up over you.
And now he's looking at the ceiling.
Yes.
Gonna
And you
attempt to regain control if he
okay.
can.
He
Um,
manages to kind of swirl almost, and he's starting to think like, am I a ghost?
can I make? Let me see. What would be a good role for that? Can I make a academics or science to see
Uh,
because of everything that's
mhm.
transpired so far, what actually happened?
Let's go with science because he seems like
Okay.
he'd lean that way.
One success.
Okay. He doesn't really have a clue. He knows that
Wow.
somehow he, he's he's probably never been a spiritual person. So
No.
he fights that urge to be like, I'm not a ghost. I'm not a ghost. Something's happened to my form. It was something probably with what we were working on. Perhaps I've been blown into atoms. I just don't know right now. Um, as he's thinking this, you hear the giants say, "Get the spray. We need to contain the fire."
I'm
So
gonna get blown out of here.
yeah, the door
It
now
seems.
is open into the hallway. There's smoke billowing out, but if he wanted to escape from this room, he could.
I'm gonna attempt to if I can.
Okay.
Um, in this form,
hmm
am I still gonna roll agility,
I think I
or
would
is
I
it
would I would say agility.
more
Yeah.
technology?
Well, he doesn't quite know what he is yet, so I would think he's still like waving, you know,
Okay.
waving the arms that aren't there to
So
try to to try to
trust.
push himself forward. Good thing is you roll a five in either one. So.
With only one success
Oh
still.
boy.
It's not a good night.
No, no. All the movement seems to be kind of pushing him back into the room.
Oh no. Um, with all the smoke that's heading out, I'm
hmm
actually gonna see up because I know there's a decent emergency ventilation system in this lab
hmm
in case of a fire. I'm
hmm
gonna see if I can go up
Okay. All right.
and
Try.
possibly escape
Yeah. Try to
through there
try to use your
because
agility again for that.
it seems small enough I could possibly squeeze. Uh, four.
Okay. Good. Yeah. He kind of feels himself kind of getting pulled on the smoke as it's going towards one of the vents.
He heads up into the vent and he's now in the air duct.
Okay. Now that he is in the air duct, the smoke is being pushed one direction. Um, now that
I
he's
assume it's kind of like inner space. It's like, oh,
exactly, yeah. So he's going, "Wah." um, and he's moving along. He has an idea where he is in the building. He's probably heading west, we'll say. Um, and as he's moving along through the vents, Um, I'm gonna give him a chance to. There's gonna be another one that kind of branches off
like a split.
a split. Yeah, that if he wants to try to like not get sucked out, he can try to essentially jump and try to get into
He will
that
try.
branch. Yeah.
Ah, I got four.
Awesome.
Two sixes.
Okay, good. He kind of manages to kind of jump off into that branch, so he's kind of out of the airstream in a way. Um, And from here, he does realize he's like, all right, well, I'm further into the building than I was. Uh, maybe I can follow one of these vents to get away from the from being sucked out till I can maybe get somewhere where I can figure out kind of what happened to me.
So he's searching about, and I'm assuming as he's going over certain sections, there's other vents that go
hmm
into other rooms.
Yeah,
And right now he's just attempting to peer into them. So I'm gonna make a perception check
that sounds good.
to see what I see coming up in the next.
Right.
Two.
Okay. As he's kind of passing by one of the first vents, um, looks like storage. He's like, all right.
Uh,
He keeps moving along.
Continues on.
Yeah, let me have you make another perception check.
5.
Awesome. He is, as he's coming by one of them, it's some kind of laboratory that he actually doesn't recognize. He sees rows of cages, about
Hmm.
20, almost looks like 20 cages. And he kind of manages to kind of stop and kind of like hover almost over the vent. So he now seems to be able to kind of figure out how to kind of move himself. It's not as much agility as just kind of knowledge now how to kind of, he's almost like hovering now over the vent. Um, and he's peering in. I want to have you let's have you make an investigation roll, please.
Investigation. Uh, 0.
Oof. All
0
right.
successes.
Uh,
I'm
well,
assuming at this point he's trying to poke in just to see if
yeah, yeah,
anyone's in there.
yeah, yeah. He can kind of, for lack of a better term, stick his head in. Kind of goes in, and he's like, well, you can either go all the way in and take your chances. No one seems to be able to see you at this point anyway, or you can come back out and kind of keep riding the vent to see what he can find.
Well, I can't keep riding it because eventually it's going to go outside, and I don't know how far it can fly. So it feels like it's an eternal
Right.
uh, pilotless flight right now since I
Yeah.
haven't fully figured out the controls yet.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to go in.
Okay. He descends through the vent, and it's some kind of some lab that he's never seen, that maybe even he didn't have clearance to get in here. Uh, and as he kind of comes down, he sees again. He was like, okay, well, these are definitely cages, and there are definitely primates in all these cages. So he kind of drifts down and is then kind of able to hover at about 3 or 4 feet off the ground.
How large is this lab on
It
average?
uh, it is probably 30 yards long. I mean, it is
Wow.
big. Um, this seems to be a section of the building that is not 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 accessible to everyone. Now, at first, he had thought maybe all the cages were full, but they're not. There's probably about, of the maybe 20 cages, maybe there's about 15 are full. Um, as he's hovering in the air, um, he's starting to feel some fatigue, physical exhaustion. It could be a residual effect of the creatures that are kept here. It's almost a weariness, that again, he's not a spiritual person, but he can kind of
No.
feel like the negative vibes, that coming off these creatures.
I'm gonna see if I can land either on the nearest desk or
Okay.
table area, or if I can't,
Hmm.
get to like the top of the nearest cage.
Okay. He's moving past one cage. There's a large ape in there, and he manages to read the label on it. It says Kershak. Uh,
For sure.
this poor creature has some kind of electronic device implanted into his forehead, and his eyes are just downcast. Um, Maurice is then able to kind of get over to a desk across from Kershak's cage, um, to kind of rest for a second and kind of look down kind of the next row of cages.
Um, I know I don't recognize this lab, but do I have any knowledge of any type of animal experimentation in the company?
No. They actually have never mentioned or publicly acknowledged any kind of animal experimentation. In fact, they've even talked about how they they look down upon it, and so this seems kind of not
Weird
something that Jet
and unethical.
Microsystem, yeah, very unethical, and something Jet Microsystems would not normally be doing. So perhaps
Hmm,
this is some kind of other project um, being stored here, being worked on here.
that's not good. Um, so there's only animals in here. There's
Hmm.
no other people in here.
Hmm.
Um, is there an emergency button in here?
You would have to probably fly around the place
Yeah.
to uh, to find out.
I'm gonna see if I can take a couple minutes rest and then attempt to take off again if I can figure out how, and then
Okay.
search out a button because if I can,
Hmm.
my goal is even though I don't have hands, I want to see if I can just run into it to set it off
Okay.
in order to catch attention.
Okay.
So hopefully I'll recognize somebody from work
Okay.
as opposed to somebody that's coming in a face mask
Right.
apparatus and
Right. The ironic thing is that you don't hear the alarm in this part of the building, which you would think, hey, if there's a fire alarm, it shouldn't be going off in the entire building, but it's not going off here. This part just
weird.
seems really isolated from the rest of the building. Uh, as he's moving amongst the cages, he does find one one that's labeled LS12618. It's an orangutan with the labeling of Agent Orange. Uh, as he's kind of flying by, you kind of catch a glimpse of it. It actually kind of raises up a paw and just kind of puts it, kind of holds it onto the bar, and just kind of watches him go by.
So it actually sees me.
Yes, for some reason you think it sees you. Yeah,
I'm gonna try to go back and forth a couple times
okay.
just to see if it actually follows me.
His eyes follow you.
Um, I'm gonna see if I can make this work to my advantage.
Okay.
So I'm gonna try to. I'm gonna see if I can go back and forth enough to get him to go back and forth in the cage enough to knock his cage over,
Okay.
and then see
Um,
if that could possibly draw someone in.
okay. Um, yeah, he's kind of watching you, and he's kind of he puts both hands on the thing, and he's kind of like, and he pulls out, and he seems to get very frustrated with the bars and kind of slams them. Um, but you don't. No one seems to be coming at this hour. Um,
Oh, the frustration. What am I gonna do? I don't see an emergency button, right?
You haven't checked the whole lab yet, so you see what you're kind of doing is almost kind of going down one row of cages and then kind of going
Okay.
down, and you're going to come back up another row. Um, After you get down kind of the first row and kind of make the turn, you do see some kind of control panel that looks like it would control the cages.
Okay.
Um,
Well, this seems like the best plan I currently have.
okay.
So I'm gonna wind up and back up a little bit and see if this is enough
Mm.
that I'll actually need, and I'm gonna go full blast into it
Okay.
to see if it's gonna be enough.
Okay. That would be your might then. Yeah, why don't you roll your might?
One.
One? Okay. Um, bounce into it, doesn't do anything. Um,
Do I feel anything
you're
off
like,
of that?
no, you feel no pain, no. It's just you're just like you're a cloud. You just bumped into it, just felt
So
nothing.
I don't feel any impact.
No, no.
It just feels like
Yeah,
extremely
yeah,
soft and air-like and
yep. Now,
wow.
if you would like to spend a resolve point, I'll allow you to roll again, and kind of based on what he just learned, to maybe try to. Now, is he trying to hit like the there's there's buttons for each individual cage, and then there looks like there's a like an override kind of kind of button. What?
Trying to see what's going to cause the biggest effect to draw attention. So
Okay.
if
Okay.
there's an override,
Hmm.
I'd probably go for that.
Okay.
If there's something that seems like it says emergency, I would go
Hmm.
for that.
Okay. Uh, there's
But
an
yeah, I'll
over.
spend a resolve.
Okay, yeah, let's spend a resolve. Um, there is not necessarily a button marked emergency, but you do see like override.
He's going to go for it again.
Okay.
Let's see. We got 3.
Okay. He slams into it as hard as he can, and he does feel this slight click, and you do hear like a buzzer go off, like, and the cage doors all start to open.
The buzzer to him from this vantage point, does it seem something like it's vibrating the air?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So
So
he's
I take it
probably
he's
like,
kind of disoriented
whoa.
then.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
As
he's
yeah,
attempting to keep control if he can, but everything just seems like it's
yeah. And
shaking right now.
and the animals that can move are coming out of their cages. Um, you do see the one LS12618 Agent Orange does kind of hop out. He's kind of he's looking around. Um, Now with this alarm, you're pretty sure you will get someone's attention rather
That's the
soon.
goal.
Yeah.
That's the goal.
So within about a minute, I would say, after most of the creatures are starting to get out, a far door does open, and you see a just kind of like one of the you would expect one of the regular company security guards, but this guy's different. He is in all black, has a respirator on, so it looks like he might
Where
have
do
been
I
back.
work?
Yeah, you don't know.
That's what he's thinking right now. He's like, where the hell do I work?
uh, and
Where
this
else
guy,
Charlie?
yeah.
No, stop playing the game. Let's go.
Well, soon Charlie's going to be outside trying to do crowd control, but that's happening over with Quark.
Oh
Um,
man.
and this guy, yeah, he comes in. He almost looks like military, and again, he's gigantic to you, coming in, and you hear him go, "Oh shit!" And he pulls out like some kind of like a almost like a taser like baton, as he's looking at all these angry former prisoners are now looking at him.
I don't recognize him, but I need to catch his attention because I need to figure out some type of help. So I'm gonna attempt to fly up in his face,
Okay.
see how close I can actually get if he can actually see
Okay.
me. Because with the other ones, I backed off.
Hmm. You manage to fly up. You're kind of swirling like in front of his face, and he does manage to kind of, yeah, to him he's seeing this like helix looking thing just flying all around, and he's like, what? He's like, what the hell's going on here?
And you hear me.
And if he could hear you, he's not going to be. It's the alarm is going off. The apes are getting angry. So he's kind of got more problems than a flying thing in front of his face.
Feeling he would probably be swinging at it.
Hmm. Yeah, he may be like kind of batting a hand at it.
So it wouldn't surprise me if you want to make a roll to see if you smack him.
I might at
Give you
that.
some fun too.
I might at
Come on.
that.
You know?
Yeah, let's take a look. Um, uh, okay.
Let's see what my agility can do, and I'm assuming you probably have double the dice since he's a little
Yeah,
beefy and
yeah.
he has a big old shtick.
Let's see. So
I am
that's
really tiny though.
3. Yep, yep.
One success.
Okay. He manages to kind of hit you, and just you almost feel yourself kind of it's the weirdest feeling. It's like almost like disperse. Like you feel like part of you kind of drift away a little bit, but then kind of gradually kind of come back. So you're not hurt,
Whoa,
as in you're feeling disconnected.
that's weird. So he is definitely feeling some
Yeah,
disorientation.
yeah.
He's attempting to regain control if he can. He's going to spin around and see what's going on
Okay.
inside a room
He
behind him.
he sees that the orangutan, Agent Orange, is now charging forward
Oh
towards
God.
towards the guy.
I'm going to attempt to use agility to get out of the way
Okay.
if I can. Ah, 3,
All right. Let's see.
which you should probably put some negatives on that since he was
Yeah.
disoriented.
Yeah.
So,
He does not get out of the way. In fact, the orangutan slams into him, and he almost feels himself like sucked in to the beast. So where he had vision, all of a sudden it just goes black, and then he just hears a "Rah!"
and he opens his eyes and he sees the guy on the floor attempting to scramble to
Yeah,
get a baton.
yeah. And he's
And
this guy's trying to wave at him.
I could feel myself attempting to push up, and I'm looking around and I attempt to wave at him again, and I'm like, "Hey, over here! Hey, over here!
Hey,
Hey,
hey, no!
over here!"
And you are now looking through the eyes of Agent Orange.
And I go to bring my hands up, and I see hair-covered
Yes,
hands,
yeah.
and I'm like,
And the guy stabs the the taser at you.
"Oh God!" So I'm gonna
Yeah,
attempt to use agility.
yeah. So now you have some
Get
real
the
good
hell
agility.
out of the way. I was having everything
Yeah,
beforehand.
yeah.
So, all right, 2, 4.
Okay.
I got 4.
You guys basically balanced out. He tagged you, didn't hurt you. Um, so now if you want to take a swing at him, you can, or you could just try to.
Right now, I think he's still semi in shock.
Okay.
So he's going to try to get away because he sees somebody swinging at him,
Hmm.
but he's not in his full faculties.
Hmm.
So when he goes to run back, he doesn't realize that, like, his feet are also kind of like hands. So he's kind of stumbling.
Yeah.
And when he gets to a counter, like, instead of like pulling himself like up to stand, he's pulling himself up and he's like on top of the counter now. So he's trying to reach for the closest thing, which he pulls up like some type of like pan container
Hmm.
thing. And if he's going to swing at him, he's gonna use that to try to block it.
Okay. Uh, yeah, the guy does try to take another swing. And let's just have just gonna I'm just gonna say it hits the pan. We're gonna keep it simple. Hits the
Okay.
pan. Um, Now he he hits it and he's kind of like this one's smart, and he kind of takes a step back. Now from behind you, there's a chimpanzee and a gorilla have come out, and they seem a little groggy, but the chimp kind of jumps to sit next to you, and the gorilla is almost like trying to shove past you to get out.
Well, I let the gorilla because I'm assuming he probably towers over me.
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep firm hold of the pan,
Okay.
and I'm gonna attempt to follow the gorilla out. So
Okay.
he's kind of like the
Yeah.
linebacker
Yeah.
at this point, and I'm
Exactly. The yeah the yeah yeah
making a hole. You
yeah
know,
yeah the gorilla is your fullback.
if I can.
He pretty much just shoves the guy. He just throws the guy, and yeah, and you're able to now follow the gorilla out into the hallway. The chimp is right behind you. He's running. Now you're in a hallway you don't recognize, but based on your experience, well, if I came west to get here, I probably want to go east to try to get out.
Is Kershak the chimp or the gorilla?
Kershak is actually not one of the ones with you.
Okay.
This one is just one of the other gorillas you saw.
Okay.
Kershak had some kind of implant in his head, but you're assuming he's probably still back
These two
in the
don't have
lab.
any types of
Correct.
implants on them.
Right. Right.
Okay. Um, I'm gonna keep attempting to follow him just in case if somebody
Okay.
else comes into the hall.
Okay.
But until then, I got to head on a swivel.
Sure. Sure.
Um, I'm attempting to keep an eye out.
Okay. You kind of the three of you charge down this hallway, and you get to another security gate. Um, and the ape jumps up, just like slams his fists at it, and it rattles the door, but it's like not opening. He's just pounding on the gate.
I'm gonna see if there's a control to actually open it.
Okay. Yeah. Um, on this side, it looks like you might be able to manually pull it open. So, okay. All right. Using your strength, you kind
I
of
just look
managed.
at the gorilla.
He's like, he's all right.
Have at it.
All right, and the two of you kind of managed to just like pull the door open, charge through. You are now you've now managed to make it to another hallway that you think probably leads back to your lab. But now you're hearing that heavy alarm sound is still going. There's still a lot of smoke, and the chimp and the ape seem they stop and they're not go forward kind of. But you know how you probably would get out. You'd have to go past your lab to get out, but they seem very afraid of continuing forward.
I'm going to see if I can get up to the lab door. Is it open?
Yes, yeah,
Okay.
and you get in, and the fire has been put out. There's three firemen who that again in these uniforms that you don't recognize. They're not, Boston Fire Department. They're something else, but even they're like kind of like coughing from the smoke.
So here's my goal.
Mm-hmm.
I want to try to attempt to go into the hall,
Mm-hmm.
and hopefully there's like a fire extinguisher in the hallway.
Mm-hmm.
I want to use that as a distraction.
Okay.
I want to shoot that into the room
Okay.
um, to distract the three of them. And
Mm-hmm.
my goal is if my key card didn't get burnt up,
Mm-hmm.
I want to see if I can grab that before I run out.
Okay. Did he typically
So
keep his key card like on his waist or something, or did he like keep it kind of like sitting
I
on
got
his
to roll a
desk or
die
something?
because I'm not sure if he had it like on top of a table, if he
Yeah.
had it around his
Let's.
neck. So
I'm gonna roll a die.
his
And
mindset is if um he needs to get back in here to figure out what
mhm,
happened because right now he has to get out.
yeah,
But if he needs to get back in, that's his only way
yeah,
that he can think of that he can get back in.
yeah. Roll a die, and let's see what you get.
Uh, I got a 5.
Okay. Um, he would have kept it on, like he had a little thing, like just kept it on his belt. Um, so his key card would have been on him and would have gotten burned up.
Uh, so thinking that he's still going to attempt to shoot
Okay.
into the room before he
Sure.
searches.
Okay. Yeah, he can.
So
Yeah,
that's his goal.
Yeah, he can find the fire extinguisher.
Yep. And then I don't know if you want to make it tech to operate it or covert
Uh,
to attempt to sneak in and shoot it or
uh, if well, they really they're really not paying attention. They're actually, even though they're wearing respirators, these guys are coughing
okay.
from the smoke, and you're actually starting to kind of get some whiffs from the smoke as well. Um, but let's go with technology then, since they're really not paying attention to him.
1, 2, 3, 4. So I got 4 for that,
Okay.
and then I'm gonna roll an investigation to see if I can do a quick
Sure. Yeah.
pan around
Yeah.
to see A, if I can see it on his hip.
Hmm.
If I don't see it on his hip, I'm going to see something I can grab to help me
Gotcha.
survive out there.
Okay.
Either a lab coat, somebody else's ID,
Yeah.
just something to salvage.
Okay.
3.
Okay. He does. He does manage to. Well,
Car keys, anything.
he does see another lab coat that was sitting over on a far chair. So after he sprays in the room, kind of arcs the
Mhm.
the um, fire repellent. They all kind of like look. They're kind of like, what the hell? And there would be a lab coat hanging off a chair that wasn't burned yet.
I'm going to grab that
Okay.
before I turn to leave.
Okay.
I'm going to hit the emergency shutdown again before I take off. So
Okay.
the door's shut on them,
Okay.
and then I'm going to turn and look down the hallway
Mm-hmm.
at the chimp and the gorilla, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to wave them on,
Okay. All
and
right. You
then
you you
skedaddle.
manage to just dive back through the door shut, and you hear the guys, "Hey, what's going on out there?" Um, the the
I give
uh,
them the let's go.
the pair, they see you, they start hustling down the hallway. So now you're back to that original doorway that you would have come in, that leads up to the stairs to go up to the lobby.
Did that need card access?
That one does, but
Damn.
you're on this side of it, and since you and your friend figured out how to grip the door and pull it,
We're gonna do, we're gonna do it again.
yeah, yeah. So make
So
yeah make it make
Mike,
a yeah make a might roll, please.
he's feeling a lot more powerful than he did
Yes, he is.
beforehand,
Just a
and
bit.
he's realizing this really quick. Um, 2.
Okay. He needs some help from the gorilla, and the gorilla seems to have figured it out, and the two of you just kind of managed to yank it just enough that you can slip through. So now you're out into the kind of out into the to the landing by the stairs. Um, as you're coming through, there was another door that led to another lab, and you see that door shut, like somebody just went in there. But at the moment, that doesn't concern you. You know, freedom is up these stairs and out through the lobby.
I don't have much more luck in me, so I'm gonna have to take off if I can. So as I'm
Okay.
heading up, I'm gonna
Hmm.
slip the lab coat on me
Okay. Okay.
and attempt to lead the other two out if I
All
can.
right. All right. Yeah, you get up the stairs. There's there's no security guards, no security doors at this point, so you just kind of break through a door. You're out into the lobby. There's no one in the lobby, but you see beyond the lobby, outside the glass doors, you see a lot of onlookers. You see some looks like some almost like military vehicles have now pulled up. You're
Oh,
like what? Um, so you can either try to go charging out the front door, or try to find another door on this level. Maybe that.
on the lobby, if there's a fire exit,
Hmm.
I'm probably gonna attempt to
Okay.
lead them out of side
Okay.
a fire exit, like seeing all the military, and I'm
Yeah.
assuming
Yep.
there's probably a fire truck out over there,
Yeah.
and
Make
God
me
knows what else.
Yeah, make me a perception roll,
All
please.
right.
Just to see if you're quick enough to go, oh, fire exit over here.
Uh, 4. Oh, 5.
Awesome.
5.
You're like, fire exit that way. You go charging through it, out the door, and you are kind of on a side exit of like the main door, that kind of leads down to like an alley that would
He
be.
goes to head to his car,
Okay.
and about 50 yards away, he realizes he doesn't have his keys.
Yeah.
So he stops,
Yeah.
and he's thinking to himself, and then he just starts running in the direction of his house,
Okay.
like because he doesn't
Yeah.
have a car.
Yeah. And
And I don't know if the other two are following him or not. But
they kind of follow you for a minute. They kind of stop and they seem to just kind of dart off into the night. They're kind of just going their own direction. So yeah, so he has successfully escaped from Jet Microsystems in the form of a large orangutan. And I
My God,
believe that is where we will wrap up for this evening. So
that was awesome.
thank you. I hope you enjoyed that. I had a lot of fun, and I look forward to more adventures with this character. Do you
Absolutely.
want to go ahead and you got anything you want to plug, sir?
Sure. My name is Michael Walsh. You can find me on the socials, mostly Twitter and Instagram. Soon a couple of other ones. I'm True1399. I promote mental health and stress relief for via TTRPGs. I push other individuals in the community, mostly smaller streamers, to get their name out there. I
Like
also
me.
star in a couple shows. This guy over here. Um,
Yeah.
I star in a couple shows. For example, Vancouver by Night, Toronto by Day, Tales from the Rookery, A Changeling's The Dreaming 20th Anniversary Edition actual play. That is Tuesday nights, returning in August. Also, I am going to be co-hosting and starting up my own channel, Lanyap Gaming. That is scheduled for the second Tuesday in August, the 13th. We are going to be premiering one of our two Vampire the Masquerade shows currently being recorded. And you can find me here with these lovely individuals. Um, and I can't wait to dive into the system. I love superheroes, and I've been looking forward to get into to a game of this online. Jumped on the opportunity, so
Yeah.
I can't wait.
Awesome. Well, glad you could join us. Another person and joins the what we call the LVU now.
Thank
Uh,
you for having me.
oh, no problem. And we'll plan issue 2 coming up soon. So stay tuned for more action. See you guys later.
Awesome.